Hi, I'm Elizabeth and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you a collection that's very dear to my heart. It's based on my love of cold beaches and the sea and ocean, and it's called The Sea is My Lover. Let's get into it, shall we? This collection uses alcohol inks. If you're familiar with them, they're really cool to work with. You use them on synthetic papers. I also use them on canvas, but you get a very different effect on canvas. The Sea is My Lover is based on my enduring joy of cold beaches. I live in the South Island of New Zealand at the moment, in a little place called Dunedin, and it's on the coastline, but it is not summery in any way, shape, or form. But I adore its beaches because it's cool, they're not crowded, and they're just such a calming, relaxing influence on my life that I decided they should be celebrated. My work in this collection is abstract. Some is recognizable if you know what you're looking for. So, for example, the one you can see on the screen behind me is based on the beautiful swirling kelp that we have in the ocean here. I used to live at a little village called Aramoana, and it has a mole that walks right out or extends right out into the ocean. And you could walk along that, and because of the tide and the motion in the ocean, the kelp does this amazing dance, and it just reminds me of, long hair flowing in the water. Because these works are done on synthetic paper or upu paper, if you like, they're really easy to frame. So they can either come to your home rolled up in a tube and you can frame them yourself, or otherwise have a very affordable range of frames. You can see the kelp piece is framed in this shot, and the artwork itself is an A3 size, and then it has a matte and a black frame around the outside ready to hang. All the works in this collection are abstract by nature. So here's a full size, you can see, of what I call my kelp painting. And you can see it has that kind of waving emotion and motion effect in it. So I use isopropyl with my alcohol inks to get the effect I'm looking for. If you'd like to know more about that, or if you'd like a tutorial on that, I'm super happy to share. So drop me a comment. I have spent a fair bit of my time on the coast of Queensland as well, and some of that in far north Queensland, which was adjacent to the Barrier Reef. So I do have a fascination with coral, and this is my abstract representation of a coral cay and the colours that you see when you dive on the Great Barrier Reef. If you haven't been there, it is one of the wonders of the world, and you want to get there sooner rather than later because, of course, we're doing weird things with runoff that affects the reef. But you can see in this one that I have layered inks upon one another, and it can create that kind of nuanced cell-like effect representing the small cellular kind of components you can see in coral. Here's another one, and this one is based on what you find on the beach. So when you're walking along the beach and you find smooth shells or rocks or sea glass, and this is in two different shades of blue. It's one of the more coastal looking ones that I've done, and it's just really relaxing and calming to have some art like this in your environment. Art can be whatever you want it to be, something to uplift, something to comfort. But for me, this series is really mindful. It takes a lot of concentration to get it to do what you want it to do. And when I work in alcohol inks, I am fully focused on the work in front of me. So I always think of it as something that is quite calming and meditative and mindful. And the same when you look at them, I can actually see that kelp artwork from where I'm sitting talking to you, and you can kind of get lost in it. There's two shades of green, and there's those organic, rounded structures that just all come together and really give your mind a little break from what might ail you. As previously mentioned, I love my cold beaches. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I'd much rather be on a beach at 12 degrees than on a beach at 32 degrees. So this is another found object inspiration here on the beaches. So my works are abstract. They're not meant to realistically portray anything, and therefore they can be whatever you want. A friend of mine saw this particular work and she said it reminded her of rock pools, another beachy, cool thing. Now, if you've ever been scuba diving or snorkeling and you have your glasses on, you can suddenly see a lot more in the water than you can without. And this one is based on that notion of what lies beneath. So, what are we looking at here? I don't know. Little microbes, little tiny sea creatures, a little tiny jellyfish. Bearing in mind, if you're in North Queensland, wear your wetsuit because you don't want those irukandji to sting you. But just the little iridescent and almost translucent sea creatures that you can see on a good dive. So here's an example of another style of framing. There's no white mat on this one. It's in a really modern slimline white frame, and the artwork itself goes right to the edges. So remember, if you fall in love with any of these pieces, you can have them framed or unframed. Just drop me a message and we'll see what I have on hand. Okay, so along with the kelp and the coral, this would be one of my favorite pieces. The sea green on this is just amazing, if I don't say so myself, which sounds kind of weird when it's your own work. But the detail I was able to achieve and the blend between different greens and a green yellow was just a joy. It was just exciting. It just came together so well. And I love it. This one gives me jellyfish. This one gives me little sea amoebas, whatever you might want to see. It's up to you because all my art is for your joy and your viewing, and you can see whatever you want to see in it. One of the reasons I love abstract art so much is the decision on what to see is at your discretion, viewer discretion applied. See what you want to see in my artwork, whatever brings you joy. I can tell you in this collection, there's nothing dark and there's nothing nasty and there's nothing moody or untoward. This is all about life and living and joy and doing what makes you feel good. So this one has a real cellular effect to it. Even looking at it now, I think, oh, how did I get those little shapes? Like you do. And it's a combination of the ink and using the isopropylene and using a particular technique that gives me that kind of cell breakdown that you can see. As mentioned, really easy to frame. If you buy the piece of work unframed, then just pop down to, your favorite framer if you must, or Kmart or Target or any of those kinds of stores that offer ready-made framing. You'll find there's a huge array nowadays. I particularly like these in white or black frames. You can use natural wood frames if you like as well. But you can see this one is really simply framed at the moment. And it just really gives off kind of that minimalist, Scandi, Japani kind of vibe. Tell me what you think in the comments. I have a range of smaller works, my petite works, and they start from $69 New Zealand, and they come framed and ready to go. This one is part of the Sea is My Lover collection because it blends the seashore that you can see in the yellow, representing the sand and shore, with the tidal pools and the blue of the sea. Personally, one of my favourite works of all time, and just waiting to bring joy to your home. Having lived on the coast for so much of my life, I am inspired by what you might call the coastal vibe. But I don't want my coastal vibe to be obvious. I don't want it to be seagulls and, ropes and knots and, life buoys and that kind of thing. I want my coastal vibe to be calm and serene and relaxing. And I think that's where these sea glass inspired pieces really shine. For me, there's another common theme that carries through all these pieces, and that is organic. The organic nature of them, the shapes, the connection to nature, whether it's, the bigger pieces that look at the seashore or whether it's pieces like this that look at what lies beneath the surface, they have that inherent connection to nature. And that's something you'll see reflected in a lot of my work, in my landscapes and in my floral works. I have a strong and distinct connection to nature. Thanks so much for sticking around all this time. It's been lovely to spend this time explaining my work to you. I love sharing my work. If you can see behind me, that's some of my landscape work. There's a few videos on those as well. If you have any questions, please drop me a message and like and subscribe, and I'll see you again. Ciao for now.